Hello, my name is Doug Wendell, and today is Spirituality Talk. I did move my dread out of my face, as I can see. Spirituality Talk is a show where I share with you my life's adventures thus far that are of a spiritual nature. I also answer whatever questions you have about your spiritual journey on this planet Earth. So today, it seems like I'm a little tired, a little bit, because I woke up. I really slept in until like noon. And it's because I was up last night for a long time. Um, I decided to try some Valerian tea because I haven't had it in a while. And I don't know if too many of you people know much about Valerian tea, but trying to lay down, but you can't see me. Valerian tea is good for insomnia and people who have a hard time sleeping. So I was able to find a bottle of Valerian capsules that I had. And pretty much what all those capsules are is just the Valerian, and inside of the capsule is the ground up herb of Valerian. And if you've never tried Valerian, it's a very stinky herb. It smells like cheese or whatever, or just a funky smell. Some say it smells like funky feet, but it really helps. It really helps for a lot of people to go to sleep. And I was having a really hard time going to sleep because things that happened in the day really troubled me, and the evening really troubled me. And I had a hard time calming down. I just felt so much anger and rage inside of me. And instead of raging out completely, vocally, I decided to have some Valerian tea. I stayed up all the way to I stayed up to almost 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was drawing. I should bring out the drawing that I was working on. It's a drawing that I had started a long time ago and finally got back. That's my alarm. But yeah, it's a drawing that I started a long time ago and got back into again because I was just feeling it. And like I've talked about many times before, a lot of people, they don't want to express themselves artistically when they're upset or they're angry. But I think it's a healthy thing to do, because if you don't, then the anger will erupt into something a lot more violent and destructive. So it's a good idea to get out those really toxic and hurtful emotions in a very soothing and non-destructive way. So I think let's go in there and I'll grab that drawing in question, and then come back outside. Yeah, I'm really sore today too, and if you don't know this, I do have arthritis in my knees and ankles. I'm making a video. So yeah, let me grab that drawing in question and kind of show you what it looks like. So yeah, Valerian is a very strong herb. If you guys have never tried it, and I've talked about Valerian before, and I talked about how interesting it is that Valerian is not recognized as a psychedelic, but it can be for more than just this one person here, me. I drank I think 3 or 4. What is that? Okay, never mind. Thought I saw something. A bird feather over there. But anyway, I drank probably 3 or 4 pots of that Valerian tea in a little teapot last night. And I just kind of let all these emotions out through tears, through just thoughts about things, and through listening to music too. Before I got into drawing, I just put on music, and I was just playing music that I knew that can pull out these emotions and feelings, so that I can feel them and release them. And that's something I've done forever, and I'm sure that's something everybody has done when they're feeling really frustrated, angry, and upset, but you can't really talk about it. Then how do you deal with those kind of emotions? With me, I listen to music, and then I draw or do something creative, in order to work through whatever situation it is. Because a lot of the situations that we're dealing with these days are very emotional. People have held in so much anger and rage for years. I think it all ties into childhood. And I've said this before. There's a lot of anger and rage still built up from childhood, even if you're an adult. Some people can't find a way to heal from past traumas from childhood, and then it just plays out into the regular, normal adulthood. The victim kind of feeling, and the repetitive occurring situations that are happening in someone's life if they're still hanging on to a lot of anger and resentment and rage. I mean, you can smile and all that, but you can still see the anger and rage in somebody even though they're smiling, and then it's just like people don't want to express these feelings. This person's expressing this. There's somebody in this neighborhood that has a very beautiful voice, and that person should not be just singing here. They should be on stage. But anyway, that was perfect timing. Expressing your emotions. Singing is a great way to do that, definitely. I love to draw. Sometimes I can only draw in certain situations. I can't draw if someone's standing there or sitting there looking at me draw. Look at how do you do, you know what I mean, all this stuff. I don't like that. I'm not one of those artists that likes that, to be watched constantly when I'm creating art. Because for me, art is a very spiritual experience. It's a very me connecting with what I'm doing kind of experience. It's not like me wanting to sit here. I mean, yeah, I've done art tutorials. That's just showing you basic stuff on how to make art. But you know what I mean? When I'm really, really like zooming in on what it is that I'm doing, I don't want to sit there and explain it. Oh, here comes the sirens. Hold on. I have some of my juice. I'm drinking some. Oh, it's grape juice with What up? It's grape juice with carbonated water. So if you didn't know, I'm living in a city. It's a small city, but I'm living downtown in a city in California in an undisclosed location. Yeah, so I had a very long night full of creative things happening. Very positive. Because I just got so far in my life to the point where I feel like I'm tired of drama so much. You know what I mean? This world is filled with so much drama, and it feels like the beings on this planet are so sensitive to wanting to be enthralled in drama and continue to make more dramas, and then say they don't want any drama, but then continue to make dramas in their life. It's almost like having a dramatic life is trendy or something. Yeah, I had a lot to think about last night, staying up all those hours, and I just listened to music that helped me get those emotions out. Like that one Clannad song called Harry's Game. That always pulls out all those tears and emotion in a healthy way. It's just certain voices can have a positive effect on releasing out the emotions that I need to release out in a healthy way, in a solitary way. Because a lot of things that I experience, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree with this, a lot of things that I experience, not a lot of people can relate to or want to relate to, because they still want to be connected to the status quo. They still want to be connected to polite society, as Terence McKenna would say. If you don't know anything about Terence McKenna, I can do another video about him. I did talk about him in a video, but I could do another one. Here comes another loud, noisy truck of some sort. So anyway, yeah, I'll show you the drawing I was working on. I'm kind of timid too. Some of the artwork that I do, not everybody likes it. Some find it offensive. Some find it too provocative. Some may find it too weird. I mean, I've gotten all kinds of comments about it, but I've gotten a lot of positive comments through the years about the artwork that I create. And it's not about getting positive comments or negative comments to create art. I create art because I feel it. You know, not waiting for someone to say, oh, that's a great job. I do appreciate the comments. Don't get me wrong. I love that. If you guys appreciate it and you can connect with whatever it is that I'm putting forth that's of a creative nature, you know, I appreciate that. But a lot of artists create art because they feel like that they have to in order to express themselves. I felt like that ever since I was a kid. I felt like my voice was stifled. If I did express myself or I did ask questions, then I was seen as somebody that was a troublemaker, someone who doesn't take too kindly to authority. And that was not my intentions at all in every experience. My intentions is to learn. And I feel like that's why I'm here on this planet, is to learn. But some people don't have that same kind of feeling. So I'm going to show you the drawing without further ado. So this is the drawing in question. So I don't think I can get too much trouble because it's not exactly nudity, but almost. But this is the drawing I was working on last night. I had started it a long time ago, and I decided to work on it last night because I was feeling that energy was like the right energy to put forth on paper. And sometimes these drawings I used to not feel too proud of showing or sharing because I felt like maybe it's too provocative. But these are drawings that come from, it feels like from a higher place within me. And we all have that, I feel like. And I'm not talking about heaven or whatever, like things like that on that level. I'm talking about when you tune out all the stuff that's going on, all the BS, all the stress of paying bills and rent and all that. When I tune all that out and just concentrate on pure emotion and how I'm feeling, these kind of drawings come about. And I was really happy that I did decide to just pull this out and start working on it, because I was going to try to work on the one that I've been working on for a while, so that I could finish it and make prints of it. And if you guys didn't know, I do sell art prints of my drawings. I just started doing that. I think maybe it was 3 weeks ago that I started loading up art prints on my Etsy shop, and my Etsy shop is www.darkmoondoll.etsy.com. So that's where all my the prints that I've made so far are located. And they're reasonable price. Each print is like $9 each plus $6 shipping. And then you get a free handmade gift along with it as well. So, and I still have many prints up on my Etsy shop. But this is the one I was going to work on more last night, but I couldn't. I just couldn't feel it. And if I can't feel it, I like it, but I couldn't feel it. If I can't feel it, what's going on in there, then I move on to a different drawing. These drawings, yes, they're done on paper that's not the best, and that's why I'm just finishing these drawings and then scanning them with my scanner and making prints of them and selling them on my shop, so that people can afford to have these kind of drawings that they like, but not have to pay the original drawing price, original art price. So, because if I was selling this as original art in a frame, it would be a lot more money than $9. But I'm just trying to make things affordable for everyone. And for the longest, people have been asking for prints. But anyway, I was going to work on this one, but I decided not to because I just wasn't feeling it. I have to be in the mood to work on certain drawings. And this one's very intricate and very involved. And yeah. So yeah, do you guys like to express yourselves when you're feeling like way beyond like angry or sad or whatever? Um, if you don't, it just gets worse. And you have to find something that really draws out those emotions. I found that Valerian tea, having like 3 cups of the Valerian tea really helped too. It seemed like this time around when I had the Valerian experience, it was drawing out emotions that I needed to get out really bad, because it felt like, if you don't realize this, emotions can get trapped inside of you like blockages. And these emotions can get trapped based on specific experiences you've had in your life. I was diagnosed with PTSD. I'm a military veteran, and I've experienced some very traumatic things in my life that I've gotten through. And then I was like, wow, how the fuck did I get through that? It's like, Jesus fucking Louise. Anyway, but yeah, I had to learn constructive ways of dealing with the experiences I had when I was in the military. I had some very traumatic things happen to me when I was in the military. And I talk a tiny bit about, well, not a tiny bit, a lot about that in a video that I made on this channel, talking about my military experience. It wasn't a positive one, at all. A lot of people don't want to talk about their military experience because, it seems like people who've never served in the military, when the military vet comes out, oh, you gotta celebrate the fact that you went to war and sacrificed your life for this country. Yeah, military veterans aren't treated like that. They're not treated with that kind of respect when they do come back a lot of times. A lot of times they've been through so many traumatic things, seen dead bodies, and have been traumatized through basic training, through this way of thinking like a robot, and just taking orders and just going for it. It's just is very exhausting on the soul. I had to retrieve my soul when I got back from the military. It was just that intense, and I talk about it, what happened, the intimidation. They went far beyond intimidation. They went far beyond it wasn't just intimidation, it was humiliation. A lot of the things that they did when I was in there, my experience. And they try to make you feel like you're over exaggerating things if you complain about it. And a lot of times when people come back, or they get booted out of the military or discharged, whatever, for whatever reason, they feel like, how do I recover from all that? And I found the best way to do that is to find something that you enjoy doing that's creative work. I've got a whole plethora of videos for creativity, and I really believe that if people were to sit down and actually concentrate on what's going on inside of them through an artistic means, it might be a little bit safer and healthier way of expressing yourself. That has helped for me tremendously forever, throughout my whole life here on this planet. When I was a kid coming into this world, it wasn't a kind world. It was a pull yourself up from your bootstraps kind of world. And I was a little kid that was given so many responsibilities. It was ridiculous. Most people look at me and go, oh, you ain't got a care in the world. You're not working a 9-to-5 job. You don't have to deal with anything. You're at home all the time. You got plenty of time. But people that are at home all the time, not all the time, I'm getting up, going walks and stuff. I'm not like sitting in the house all day. But people just have this assumption of someone who doesn't work a 9-to-5 job. What are they doing all day? They probably just watch a TV all day or whatever, or mooching off of the government. It's just sad that it seems like it's split into like the 9-to-5ers against the people that aren't working 9-to-5 jobs. The people who are working 9 to 5 jobs, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are very bitter at the people that aren't, that live in their household. And so they get they get a little angry or whatever because there's things that they would like to do other than working at that 9 to 5 job. And I know that feeling because I've felt like that before. But you got to do something constructive and creative whether you're working a 9 to 5 job or not. When I worked a 9 to 5 job, I've gone 2 weeks without having a day off when I worked at my last job. And I was sick, I remember that. And injured. So, is this guy singing again? I like his voice. Wish he had a microphone, get him over here and sing while I'm talking. But what I'm getting at really is that we got to find something to do that's creative. And I think this fits into spirituality talk today for Thursday. That we really need to tap into our spiritual selves whenever a really extreme situation happens for us. It may not be extreme for someone else, but if you're a really sensitive soul and you found out that you're an empath, people use that word, I've said this before, just frivolously. And they don't even know what the fuck it means. It means somebody that's extremely sensitive, and when they're hanging around with somebody, they can feel what their life is. They literally feel like they're that person. And if you're an empath and you're that sensitive, you have to find ways of expressing yourself and getting emotions, toxic emotions out. Sometimes these toxic emotions aren't even ours. They're somebody else's, and we've absorbed it and taken it on as our own and don't know how that happened. So in this world, I feel like you have to be very observant of what's going on and not be extremely attached to what's going on this planet, because there's so much energy that's swirling around trying to get to people, trying to beat people down, especially people like me with hair looks like this and my face looks like this. I'm not easily accepted into polite society. I'm not easily accepted into all kinds of crowds, and I don't want to be, but it feels like people want to pressure me to be in these kind of crowds, and I don't want to be in them because I know those kind of crowds are fake and phony, and they don't help me to heal, and I'm not into like hanging out at like clubs and stuff and all that. In that kind of regard, I'd rather be in a situation where I'm outdoors and talking to like-minded people, like the people that I talk to, like you, that watch this channel. So yeah, I just wanted to share some thoughts with you for spirituality talk. I really enjoy the input you give and how we learn and grow together. It's not like just me being some wise old wizard or some shit like that, or some wise crone telling you what you should do. A lot of people will look at me like that, like I'm better than them. I'm not better than anybody else. We're all on a different level. We're all on our own spiritual path, and we're all learning and growing and healing. And we're healing from so much shit, so much abuse, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, whether it's sexual, whatever kind of abuse. We're all dealing with some sort of messed up shit to happen to us in our childhood. When you're talking to somebody and they're getting angry at you and shouting at you, and you can't figure out why they're angry and shouting at you, or they're just angry at you, it probably has nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you. It has to do with that person being so angry at their life and where they're at, and wondering why you're not feeling the same way too. Why are you so happy? Look at where you're at and what's your life's all about. Why are you so happy? But the thing is that, I don't know, it just seems like some people like me have struggled a lot in my life, financially, and spiritually. I feel like I've become more wealthy in that way because I've spent more time out with myself and my emotions and feelings and processing them. Because if I don't, then it just gets trapped in there. It's sick. It's a sickness is what it is when you trap in those negative emotions. You got to get it out somehow. That's why people make make music that's really what people would seem to be offensive or really violent, yelling and stuff, or make art that's very shocking, because they're trying to express themselves the best way that they can without being destructive. You know, and that's very important in this world right now. We've got a lot of angry people, a lot of pissed off people. And it's pretty much people that are adults, but inside they have this child that's neglected and is still in there, like, crying out. And it shows out on this adult person letting out all of this toxic crap from the past. It just builds up and builds up because you don't do anything about it, and it just gets worse. I guess that's the end of my homemade grape soda. I just put grape juice and Canada Dry sparkling water in there. So anyway, thanks for joining me today for today's spirituality talk. I have no idea what I'm going to title this video. But the Valerian really helped pull out a lot of emotions that I needed to let go of, that I need to not be attached to, situations and expectations that I should not have. Not for myself, but, you know, I should not go there in my mind and expect something to happen or something to change that I can't make change, situations I can't make change. Only thing I can do is change the things within me. And I hope you guys realize that too. It's not like I'm some sort of person who's telling you what to do. I'm just sharing my story with you. And if you find something valuable in that and it helps you get through your life, I feel glad that I shared it with you. So thanks for joining me today for today's show. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for the likes and shares, and thank you for your kind comments. You leave your comments down below and tell me how you're doing these days, and what do you do to express yourself when you're feeling very emotionally distraught? Because that's how I was feeling towards the middle of the day, or no, towards the end of the day, and in the evening I started feeling like that. And I don't need to go into explanation of what was happening with me. It was an internal thing that I needed to deal with on my own, and it's not something I can deal with talking to a counselor. I've done that, been there, done that. A lot of the counselors I meet, they try to relate too much to me, and I don't feel like you should be doing that. If you're a psychologist and you're trying to understand somebody, you're not going to try to relate to them too much because you're not them. So that's what really pisses me off about psychologists. It does. Someone told me I should be a psychologist a long time ago, and I did go to community college. I didn't finish and get my associate's degree because I had to work full time in the 9-to-5 world. But I was going to get a degree so that I could become a art therapist, but I really don't feel that great about schools in general, because I can get into that in another conversation. Maybe I should do that live, but not everybody will agree with me on that. And that's the thing. That's why I had to spend that time last night. I stayed up till 5 in the morning, but I had to process all those feelings I was feeling. So the next day, it's not so much of a carryover and still like feeling that same kind of intenseness as I did last night. When you become aware of your feelings and your emotions, and you're able to realize and recognize what you need to do in order to work on healing yourself, this world isn't like, this planet isn't really encouraging people to heal themselves. So you have to find ways to heal yourself. You know, it's turned into a really commercial world for the most part, and you have to find those ways deep within yourself. People say they don't have time to do that, to connect with themselves, but you do. You just decide and you prioritize exactly what you consider to be important. But what you consider to be important may not really be important for your life's journey here. A lot of people have fallen off of their path of what it is they're supposed to be doing and trying to follow with what people are telling them to do. And then they end up just being miserable. And this has happened to a lot of younger people because there's a lot of older people that are resentful and bitter and jealous of people that are younger and feeling like they don't have any responsibilities. And they're thinking, well, why don't you have responsibilities? I'm working and you're not working. You need to be working. You know what I mean? What if this person that's younger is not ready yet and they need time to do whatever they need to do? I think a lot of times parents will have kids in order to like take care of the house and clean the house, take out the garbage, do all this stuff, but not seeing them as a valuable person on this planet, contributing their essence to this world. Instead, just seeing them as some sort of slave, then you better get used to this because you're going to do this the rest of your life as an adult. You know, it's interesting phenomena that occurs. I'm just thinking about it. When, you know, a baby is born, everybody loves a baby because the baby is adorable and the baby is vulnerable, and you got to take care of the baby and be gentle with the baby and talk kindly to the baby and respect the baby and give the baby a lot of love. And the baby's crying, you want to hold the baby and rock it or dance with the baby or whatever to soothe the baby's ills. But as the baby grows up, I notice that adults / parents start to be less loving towards this person, this energy that's coming to this world. They start to like get resentful. Okay, you're this age, so you should be doing this right now. Okay, you're this age, so you should be doing this right now. Why aren't you doing this right now? The school says you should be here at this level, but you're not at this level, so you're less than everybody else. You go from being this adorable, sweet little baby that's, you know, loved and adored and cuddled and protected to get your ass out here and get a job. Oh, God. What kind of supportive structure is that? It's not supportive. It's a weak foundation. We're supposed to love our children unconditionally and try to help guide, but that doesn't always happen. And when that doesn't happen for you as a child, then as an adult, you grow up and you just feel bitter and resentful towards people that you feel aren't performing the same task that you are and working as hard as you are. So, yeah, that's a mouthful. Alrighty, guys, I hope this helped anybody out there. It seems like sometimes when I start to talk about things that I experience in this world, it helps somebody out there. And that's what I like to do, is just share what's going on with me so that it can help someone out there. So, yeah, thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Brightest blessings to you all.